Okay, FixFitness guys are back ready for flex.
You got really good lighting up in here, man.
No, right?
You got that 24-hour fitness lighting that makes
Ultra light beam, man.
Oh man.
everyone look jacked.
Dude, we're back with Miles after the seminar yesterday. It's so
Mind
awesome.
blown.
It's so good.
See, this was me the first time because we did the first podcast and you didn't attend yet. So you're kind of
it's
just
like I have questions, and now I'm like, oh man,
you're
Now you-
hooked.
I'm excited.
Do you have more questions now
Oh, more
than
than
you
ever.
did before?
Yeah, way more.
Yeah, thank you for being here, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for following
guys.
up the day after too. Like that's super.
That's
nice,
a lot
man.
of work running a whole workshop and then afterwards come and hang out with us.
Thanks for listening to me for 4 hours yesterday.
It was good.
It flew by.
It's not
Like
bad, man.
I set
Good.
my little Whoop thing to like meditation, and after the first 4 rounds we did or whatever, it was 33 minutes or something. I was like, when we got up and broke, like when I met with TK and a few other people there, like that flew by. Like it went really really fast.
Amazing.
But it's crazy how you just lose track.
When you're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick more fun in the science portion, I decided.
Yeah.
After that one. Because the science, I think it's kind of long just to be sitting there for a while.
I like it though.
So, you
But
like
that's
it?
well, I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
And
some of the people wanted more, a little bit more
yeah,
science.
yeah.
But then I loved how after we, I was like, who could do some more breathing? Everybody raised their, from laying down, it was like, shoo. Everyone
Yeah.
had their hand up.
Yeah, because we did 2 rounds seated and then 2 rounds on our back. Was there a reason why?
So the protocol is up to the instructors.
Okay.
And then some people get real into the mechanics of breathing. They were like, okay, we need to breathe with our bellies, and then you. But what I found is, it all works. So
Right.
I think that the mechanics are something that you can improve on. To me, that's more of a more advanced thing. Where the beginning stages, it's just like just breathe, and that's kind of how Wim Hof teaches it, which is to me that's why I loved it so much. He's like, it's not that technical.
Don't complicate it.
Yeah, why it doesn't have to be, right?
Right.
It's not.
Well, I think the perfect word I took out from the seminar yesterday, you called it mechanical meditation. Like having that rep scheme that like Mark was saying, I can't sit there with Headspace app in my car and just like press play and listen. I just like, I'm bored. My mind doesn't calm down when it's telling you, like, you're just supposed to breathe through that.
That's the worst thing to tell someone, right? Calm down. And then you're trying to tell yourself that to like, hey, just be in the present. And
To give the exact opposite
Exactly.
is what Miles made me do on my first round. There's 3 Brazilian guys next to me, all black belts,
There was a few.
very good at breathing, and all I could hear was them.
were
They
your,
were really
your
good.
nerves?
They were so I
Your
heard
nerves
them,
bad?
and I could hear people in front of me that I knew struggling like me, like, what am I doing? And then music, you telling me over and over, like, deeper inhale, and like an anxiety attack almost coming.
Wow, yeah.
Is
we
what I
pushed
felt.
the pace, yeah.
And then we stopped, and then you made us do another round, so I didn't have time to think about it, and it felt a little bit better, but like my head was super lightheaded.
Yeah, perfect.
And you're like, yeah, good. And I was like, that's good. And then I think when we laid down, you started giving even, like, I just kept listening to you the whole time
Awesome.
and saying like the relax for the breath out, because I was forcing a breath out.
Yeah, that's before this workshop.
No, in the
Or
workshop.
earlier
The first
in
2
the
rounds, I
workshop.
was like,
Oh, I
out.
see.
And then I was like, I think I'm like gonna pass out if I keep doing this.
Yeah.
Versus like the out.
Yeah, you use more strength when you force it out.
Right.
Right, and then
So I was getting tired, cramping more. And
yeah, the idea is to be efficient. The idea
Yes.
is to make a good gas exchange with little energy.
See, that's why you're a good coach. But yeah, I was listening to you say that, and I started getting a little more calm, and then
I'm glad you say that because I'll emphasize that more in the beginning because that is the part super important.
yeah, I was just like really overwhelmed at first, and then like it was really loud. All I could hear is them breathing. The music was, everything got amplified. So I was gonna tell you today I did it again, and I was sitting I was parked next to a hospital,
Okay.
and the hospital had a helicopter landing, and like my first 2 rounds I did with in my truck. My truck was still on, and I could feel everything shaking the truck.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing.
in neutral.
When the helicopter was coming
No,
back.
no. My truck was still vibrating.
I thought
No,
that's
sorry,
what you said. I thought the helicopter was landing next to you. You're trying to stay calm.
It does get to this though. I'm sorry. My first 2 rounds, the helicopter was not landing. My truck was in idle, and I could feel the whole thing. So I said, I'm going to turn this off and roll down my windows for the 3rd round. And then the helicopter landed.
Oh man.
And it sounded like a war zone.
Yeah.
Like the audio got over amplified like crazy.
So I don't want to tell people that it makes your hearing better for the moment, but it sure feels like it does.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so neat about it. Oftentimes, I don't need music or anything because just your senses getting a little bit broader and hearing birds and just hearing things happen is so intriguing. It's so interesting when you're doing the breath work, right? Or when you're doing the hold, particularly.
The hold.
Yeah.
And I was like, it sounds like a war is happening. Yeah. And I got out of the car, and the helicopter is very far away. I couldn't even see it.
Really?
But it sounded like it was landing like right behind my truck or something.
But isn't that trippy where you're in most meditation practices, right? You're trying to be present.
Right.
But when you're in that hold, you're as present as you can be.
My adrenaline was through the roof.
And a lot of our members were saying, like, that's the most like present I've been, or I couldn't think of anything else during it. And I think that plays a big role. All your other senses are firing like crazy because you're finally there.
Yeah.
Versus you're trying to fight against it, sitting and doing some regular like be still meditation type of thing.
Right.
And that's it. You're finally there. It's like a place we've been sort of looking for.
Yeah, we try everything to get there, right?
Yeah.
We're just trying to sit there and do TM or different types of meditation to like shut out the world. And it's kind of weird. Now you're more like hypersensitive or whatever, and then you can actually experience what you're supposed to.
Well, because I remember him saying in the seminar too, like you would do it in the mall.
Yeah.
Around people. So it's good to have like a stressful environment around you.
It still works. That's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't, I just wanted to make sure that I could do it, and it didn't matter what was around me, and it didn't matter. I figured that was the most stressful thing, me being ridiculous looking, knowing that almost offending people as they're coming towards me and sort of walking around me. And if I could still do it, man, I could do it anywhere. Then I could do it with thousands of people watching me or whatever,
Because I think what we're trying to figure out is like what's right and what's wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like, is that bad that I did it in my truck in public, or should I find a quiet room? You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I do know what you mean. Because that's kind of what we think of meditation. We think you should be on like a misty hill with like
or a dark room.
Should I be in a dark room on my back on a yoga mat? Like, because when we
that's
laid
a good
down
question,
yesterday,
because that's what most people think is to get into that Zen or present state. Yes. You need all these extra factors, right? External factors.
They do, and I used to do a decent amount of the tanks.
Those
deprivation.
Yeah, and those were great. Those were fun. But and then I'd even add some things in there to make them even more intense and stuff. But once I started doing this, I completely gave up on the tanks because I could do this anywhere. I could do this in my bathtub and with ice in it. I could do this like literally anywhere, and I could feel way better than I could in an isolation tank.
That's cool too, because like some people don't like that. Claustrophobic calm space. When I see those tanks, for me with anxiety, that's the last thing I would do. Like, you can pay me, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool the opposite way, where you can get into this state like any and anywhere. And we had thread conversations because we had 7 of our CFS members take it this time, and then they're saying like, well, where do we do it? Because I don't want to like look weird or whatever. And we were talking about in the car, or I escaped to the back room. But hell, I think is just to be comfortable getting into that state wherever. So even if I sit on a workout bench in the back of the gym, you should be able to get to that same state and just do it. Like, you shouldn't have to feel like I have to like escape and hide.
Right. Because
there's that sense of insecurity, right? That comes with looking different, right? So I think I'm just gonna go for it and just do it.
You should. I think. Yeah, because you look kind of goofy sometimes, and people. I was insecure doing it in certain places, but then as you get better at it, do it in the mirror a little bit. Look at yourself. Look at what you look like when you're doing it, and maybe change the way you look when you're doing it a little bit. I mean, when we'll do it in big crowds, especially now, people start to know about it and they've seen other people do it, so they get an idea how to do it. But my first workshop was in some cold island in the middle of the bay in San Francisco Bay, and it was like 200 people, and this is when I attended. And the way people were breathing, because Wim Hof didn't at the time, we didn't really talk about the mechanics. It was crazy. People were breathing different ways that looked insane. Like, people looked like they were going insane in this place. And but all you have to do is look and see if you're using like too much of your neck.
Yes, I was. For sure. Yeah, my back of my neck hurt for a little bit. And I was like,
that's so
I'm
true.
using my neck, I'm not using my diaphragm. But
if you're breathing in public, right?
Yeah.
But you look like you're being possessed, I mean, that's going to scare some folks.
So you could do it nice and calm somewhere at a coffee shop. I've done that before, where you do it, it takes a bit longer to get there. You could do it nice and calm, where people don't really know that you're sort of, kind of doing a little bit of a meditation.
That's where I think most of our members are looking at for like what next. Rep scheme, how long to hold, how many times a day, because that's CrossFit, right?
Okay,
like rep scheme.
I think that's most people, because even after the first seminar, there wasn't a lot of CrossFitters, but Miles had a few buddies message him, same thing, like, this is great, but what's next? What's next?
Yeah.
I think he did, Miles did a good job adding in kind of the what's next, at least from what I got from it.
What'd you get?
And so here's the difference, right? Like, you took it for the first time, and then I kind of want to
I have the same questions, like how many times a day, how long should I hold, like all that stuff. So
what I realized is that there's a benefit of taking it multiple times, because DJ and Leslie, our coaches at CrossFit Sun, also took it for the second time, and both of them have the same reaction that I did, which was like, this was way better the second time around.
Yeah, I understand why.
And then you guys are all saying, well, why? What do you guys get? And it's when you first learn anything, it's kind of like
it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. Yeah. So you're only trying to get, like, for you haven't even practiced the breathing yet. So
no, my first 2 rounds I was like doing it wrong.
Exactly.
So then my next 2 rounds I did it kind of right, I want to say.
I see.
But I did take out of it, I need to practice. Yeah. But I am where I understand where people are coming from with, like, twice a day is good. 2 minutes is a good hold. Like, am I working on increasing my hold time and that kind of stuff? And Miles, every time people ask him in different ways, I would hear people ask him too yesterday. We all ask him 1,000 different ways, and his answers are all like, it's up to interpretation, really, right?
Yeah, it is. Which
is cool.
It's like, what's your favorite way to eat a banana? I mean, I like to eat 5 of them at once and peel from the bottom. It doesn't.
The banana's getting in, man. You got it. You're still eating it.
That's right. It doesn't. So I think I have an answer finally. So what's the best way to do it? The best way to get in that state that we like a flow state, is requires us to use a little bit of creativity and make it a little challenging. Which in that case, then the best way to do it is slightly different than the way you did it before, because you need to put a little challenge in there, and you need a little creativity in there, and that's how you're going to really get in that state that you want, right? If we don't do that, if you think, like, if you have this set that you keep trying to do it 5 times. By the 5th time you do it, you're going to be like, well, I'm not getting there anymore. Why am I not getting in there anymore? It's because that we thrive, right, with a little bit of with the challenge. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, because my kids, 9 and 11, they're always talking about, well, what's the best? Is this the best of this? I think, yeah, that's the best this right now, until you do that for a little bit and it's not as challenging anymore. Now you need to do something else. That's the best thing, whatever your challenge is.
I like that, because same thing with, like, learning and teaching, right? It's easier if you have that kind of, like, play mentality. You problem solve, and when you have a little bit of problem solving, that's when you actually take in the info and actually retain it. Because if you're just memorizing, like if Miles says, do ABC, and if there's any variables that come up that change the ABC, you're screwed. You don't know anything. But let's say a helicopter starts coming down on you, but you're like, the steps and the timing's off, or I don't have a watch. Like, you don't know how to apply the technique. Right. So that's the same thing we do with, like, FixFit. I was going to say, the parallels of
FixFit are crazy. Like, because Mark says the same thing. Like, we want to understand how our muscles are feeling as we, contract and relax. And
because they want the sets. Like, give me the exact sets and the exercise.
This is what we run into all the time. It's like, give me a freaking program. And Mark and I are going to be like, well, here is a program. Yeah. But it's also open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Because the way you're applying our program is going to be completely different compared to our patient to patient, basically. Right? So the reason Mark's using the Wim Hof is different than the way I'm using it. We're going to do different rep schemes.
Yeah, for sure.
So we try to do that same thing with FixFit and weightlifting. And it's complicated. It's very complicated. But that's why I think the more seminars you go to, the more you hear it, like, totally helps.
So the big difference watching you guys go through it and all the questions, you have the first timers versus what DJ, Leslie, and I, is that you start to pick up a lot of you retain and pick up a lot of the content and the coaching cues that you give us. First time around, you guys probably didn't hear half of the stuff that we're listening for.
Exactly.
Because we've heard, and that even though it's the same thing, and if I take it again, I'm pretty sure I'm going to hear shit that was said already twice, but you just don't have time to listen because you're so worried about, like, am I breathing right? Am I doing this? And then so what I posted recently in our group was, like, the 2 minutes of breathing, right, is the standard template. After the first seminar, all I did when I applied it was just breathe. But then when you guided me this time around, I was able to track how you actually coached it and retained it, because you're like the first part of it, you're telling us to find a pace, and I'm like,
the pace,
cool. And then you ramp up the pace, then you connect it with your body, then you connect it with your heart rate. It's like there's a sequence to it. But I didn't hear any of that shit the first time around.
I did.
It helped during when I'm laying there.
Yeah.
But after the fact, when I remembered what to do, it was just 2 minutes of breathing. Yes. So that's what the benefit of taking a seminar again is.
I even lost the pace. I even lost the pace before I went into the ice, because
you're like 5.
Everyone was figuring out when they should go, and I was like, I feel like I should go now, so I don't see anybody come out and like hate it,
Okay.
So.
What do you mean, like you didn't want to see somebody have a bad time?
Yeah. I didn't want to see someone come out and like go like, that was the worst thing ever, because then I'm gonna go, crap. But then I didn't want to go in first and be that person, so I was like, I should go second, But I ended up going towards the end, and I saw guys like just shivering and I was like, and then I was just like sitting there like almost going into that panic of like, I don't want to go in now.
Yeah.
So I had to already go, what the hell did I learn like 30 minutes ago, and how am I going to apply it right now?
Yeah.
And luckily DJ was timing for me, so he was helping me count my breaths, and he's all 5, hold for 5.
Nice.
And he was just like walking me through it, and I was fine.
Well, so to be clear too, the way that I guide the breath work, and the way while we do the meditation, and the way that I guide the breath work while we're in the ice bath, those are my recipes.
Yeah.
So that's not necessarily a Wim Hof protocol.
Right.
So Wim Hof protocol is much, I'm not going to say looser, I would say more strict about, it's 30 to 40 breaths, and then we do this, and then, so they really want to give you this framework, and then we all put our own sort of recipes on there. And I've been doing it since 2015, so I've had a lot of practice, and I thought about it a lot, and actually connecting your mind to the sensation at that one particular point was something. Actually, you didn't hear it last time because I didn't say it.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of new, because what I realized is when I always used to think that you brought your heart rate back down. I figured out at one time that you bring your heart rate back down before the breath hold, and which a lot of people still don't know online. When new people are watching this, they're still breathing super heavy, and then they hold their breath, and then they don't know why they can't get their
I did that today on my first round.
Yeah.
I did the exact same thing.
It's probably the most common mistake people make, and then they're like, why, I can't hold my breath that long. It's because they never brought their heart rate down.
Yeah.
So they are breathing heavy enough at first,
I didn't
but then
calm
they
it
just
down.
keep it down.
I did that on my first rep and went, what the hell? I didn't get nothing on my first try.
Because you're trying too hard is what it was, essentially.
Exactly.
But it's what's neat is so you can try that hard, but then you can start bringing it down. And I just realized that over the last month, since the last one, that when you start bringing it down, what's so good about it is not necessarily bringing your heart rate down, which is great about being efficient, but it's you get quieter. Because when you start doing it slower, when you consciously try and start bringing your heart rate down, you actually start pausing in between breaths, and it's when you pause is when you realize the sensations that are happening, and then when you latch onto one of those sensations, whatever it is,
then you're in it, brother.
Then you're in it.
Yeah,
you're in it to win it. Yeah.
That's so true. Because you can't be driving like 100 miles an hour and then flip a bitch, just slam on the brakes, and you gotta kind of ease, slow it back down.
And then what people do, right? Because it's not working for them. They do it harder. So the next round they do it even harder.
Maybe I'm not breathing enough.
Still not working.
Yeah. No, I realized mine that I didn't do the calming down part. I didn't realize it was heart rate, but I was just like, I took a breath at the top. And I was like, I held my breath. Like, that's a
good way to explain it right there, is that if you take it for the very first time, it's already built in the way how much you can learn. You're learning the framework of Wim Hof fundamentals. That's what's already going to happen.
Right.
So let's say the second time you take it, the framework's already instilled because it's time to absorb it, practice it. But what I'm picking up is all the experience from the coaching and the guidance from you.
The
good stuff. The stuff that people have, the spices that people already picked up. So I think that's a good way to explain it, because you probably just focusing on the basic framework.
Yeah.
What does this even mean?
Which is super important.
How do I use
it? We need to kind of hold on to that, know that framework to get through it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I didn't even know how I was breathing in the first 2 rounds. I was like, I think I'm exhaling way too hard, and I feel really exhausted already.
Good thing we do it long enough. That first round is to me, that's a throwaway round.
Yeah.
That's like
the intro.
And then that other one, and that's also why I have you guys sit up. So again, everyone does, all the instructors do it different, but I love doing it sitting up, even though retention times are lower. but it feels quite powerful. Like you're making, some weird things are happening while you're sitting in a nice, comfortable position. And just to sit up for a couple of minutes for some people is uncomfortable,
Also, I don't even see myself
sitting on the floor these days. Who the hell does that? No, seriously,
Yeah.
like unless you're a jiu-jitsu athlete or someone like.
Well, that's the thing
never
is,
on the floor.
when are we gonna lay on our backs too, though? In
That's
bed,
true,
maybe?
too.
But like,
Yeah, you're on a soft, comfy bed. And...
yeah, I don't see myself laying it on a yoga mat.
Do people do it standing up? I mean, of course, anyone could do it anywhere, but is it kind of like is it common enough you hear about it, or most people like to at least get kind of comfy and use less muscles?
Yeah, I think we experimented it back in at Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu back in
Nice.
San Jose. We experimented with different ways to add it into being active. So I would do these breath classes with all the jiu-jitsu guys, and we're on mats, which is nice. And then I stopped actually with because shout out to Jacob, he passed out while he was walking while we were doing it. And
there you go. That's number one.
Yeah.
He did say that yesterday, like not standing in the shower.
That
not,
makes sense.
Not driving.
I watched him tumble when we were doing that walking drill.
Oh, yeah.
He just ate it, which was fine because we're on the mats and stuff like that, and he was right back up, and he's awesome, and hopefully he'll be at my workshop next weekend. But
Nice.
But yeah, so and I realized like it's just not trying to make chemical changes while you're standing. You got to be so good at it already. So I would do it in an advanced thing. I would think about it.
Yeah.
When I'm only a level 1 instructor now. When I got to level 2. Then I would think about it for sure. But for now, I think it's just that's the most important safety thing that people have to know. When you hold with a full breath, that's when you're closest to passing out. So the time from being conscious to unconscious is the shortest. So people have to really know that you got to
be careful.
Yeah, that's why I felt like the scheme changed from when we were sitting to laying down to about to go in the bath to actually being in the bath. Because I remember I was asking Mark on the break too, like, are we going to breathe like that and then jump right in? And he was like, no, the breathing changes. Yes. And I was like, okay. And then it made sense when we did like the hold at the 5, hold for 5. I like that. But I think most of the questions we got in our group were afterwards were how to apply it to movement. So that's a good start is standing, but like how you were hiking.
Yeah.
Like you can technically still do that, but it's going to take more training and more understanding of your breath work before you get.
Well, yeah, just hiking is just walking, right? And we're not doing when I say hold for 5, it's like really pause for 5. You're not really. It's not really a breath hold so much. I mean, just pausing for 5 seconds, right?
Okay.
So it's that pause is what is like slows your mind down a little bit, slows down your breath. It really helps. Did you notice after you let go after that pause, man, you feel pretty good. It helps you like let go. I think. Maybe
and you could do that one like throughout the day.
Yeah,
you
a little
one
like that is not.
Because I think the difference is not when you're applying it, it's not a full inhalation, right? It's just like you're doing just 5 good controlled breaths in neutral or so, and then just a nice easy hold. Maybe that's why it's a little safer because you're not doing
because you did have
full inhale and hold.
Right, because he had a bunch of people asking like, what about mid workout? Like can I take a break from my workout and do that? Little quick 5 breaths.
Sure, that would. I mean, you could even take a break from your workout and do a round.
Wow.
Why not?
Between sets or something.
It's gonna take a lot of practice. That's all I took away. Was like I'm gonna practice in a lot of different scenarios, different states of how I'm feeling throughout the day too. It's gonna be weird to see how my body.
To see what's happening. You can. Well, what's crazy too is remember in the presentation I said that Wim didn't know that it was his breath work. Or maybe he did, but it wasn't something he shared in the documentaries. There's a few old documentaries that doesn't even, he just mentions he's the Iceman and he can do this stuff, and the breathwork isn't even mentioned. And so I'm going to assume that he doesn't necessarily think that it's like so mechanical around the breathwork. I'll assume that he kind of thinks that he's somehow controlling himself mentally to do this. Is what I'm just going to guess. But sorry, what was I going to say? I lost track of what I was saying. Wim and his
application to working out, moving.
Oh, that's right. So it's not necessarily he doesn't know that it's the breath work. The breath work is so elusive to us. This is a natural thing, and that it's so elusive to us that aren't superhuman guys like Wim. And not only is it so elusive to us, that it was even elusive to him. That's what I think. So for us to experiment and explore and find these things, it can be very difficult and very subtle.
I get what you're saying. He had to formulate it to be able to
Yes.
to describe what's happening to somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's like, oh, just do it like this. And they're like, what the hell are you doing? He had to break down a rep scheme to like be able to transfer it.
That's what I like about. I mean, that's the whole goal of FixFit, right? We're trying to promote concepts or principles, and then through that, all these questions that we get that you got in the seminar, it's like, what do I do? You go and you play with it.
Yeah.
You do whatever the hell you want to do with it, because you might be a runner, you might have anxiety, you might just need more energy throughout the day. You want a better immune system. Like, there's no formula for you. Because your schedule, your workout intensity, whatever, your training schedule is different from someone else, you know?
Everybody got energy, and I told Mark yesterday, even at the lunch break, I wanted to go home and take a nap.
Really?
And I was really hungry.
I told him, I was like, it makes total sense, because I was like, that was the first time you probably experienced real parasympathetic state.
Yeah.
Because you're hungry now.
Oh, like in a good way, you wanted to take a nap? Like you were
like I was like, if I could go home right now and just knock out for a few hours and come back, I'll be happy.
I was like, it makes total sense. You're in finally that whatever rest and digest state, parasympathetic, and you're like, I was like, you got there,
and
finally.
not like, oh, I want like snacks and junk food. Like I was like, I wanted like a nice. What can I say? Like I wanted steak, rice, bed. Like that sounded good.
But for you, right? That you got that response. Imagine doing that like right before dinner. And then you get a good night's sleep, right? That's your application.
Right.
Whereas someone like
Evelyn
got a lot more energy, so it's like, it just depends on what you get from it.
Leslie said she went home and worked on her yard and was like in a great mood.
Oh, amazing.
And everybody was like, oh, do you feel high and stuff? And I was just like, I feel really relaxed, actually. I don't want to.
Amazing.
Like, I don't have a lot of words forming right now. I have gotten like that after acupuncture before.
Oh, really?
Like I'd have to do acupuncture at night. Like I can't work after it.
Because you're so mellow and calm.
Yeah, I'm like, I literally can't even form good sentences after.
Wow.
But that's like a little too drunk feeling, you know? But yesterday, and again, practicing it today, just more clear-headed, you know?
I wonder, everybody has that a different reaction to whatever something. I feel like something we all have to sort of release something at certain points. And I wonder if that's your release. When you release, you get more calm and you feel amazing, where other people get more energy and different things, you know?
And it's like I still did. What's different is if I did the acupuncture one and that drunk feeling, I would go home and be useless. Like I would literally like wander around a store like a zombie. And I think I said that.
Damn,
in
what they
episode.
Dip those needles in, brother.
That's what I texted Brittany last time I did it. I was like, I'm walking around Trader Joe's, nothing's in my basket. Like I'm useless. But yesterday I got everything I wanted to get done.
Nice.
Without
you were clear-headed.
Clear-headed though, without going like, oh, what's next? On to the next thing. Like I just did it. So I was thinking like competition-wise, that would be freaking amazing to do right before.
It's amazing.
Because you were talking about like walking out onto a stage, walking out clear-headed, and then just actually being able to perform. Because I had an athlete, he definitely going to have to bring him to the next one. He just had a competition this weekend. We'll have to see how he did. But he said that his first competition ever, he's only had one, his body shut down right before it started. And this is an in-gym competition, too.
Everyone's experienced
No
that.
stage.
Yes.
We've talked about that.
And I was like, did your muscles get cold?
Yep,
did you get
cold?
Quiet? And he's all, my body shut down. I had no strength.
Yep.
Wow.
And he's like, and I just got ragdolled around, and it was not good.
Oh, it was a jiu-jitsu competition.
Jiu-jitsu competition,
okay,
sorry. And he was just like, and I have another one this weekend. And I'm like, how you feeling? And you could see I hope it doesn't happen again.
But now he's thinking about that, so that shit's going to happen again.
It's probably happening again. I'm going to put it at 90% chance.
If that's all you're thinking about, shit.
I don't know if you're listening. I will name drop.
Yeah, we'll private message your guy.
But that's the thing, is it inner gym thing, it's just for fun, right?
Yes.
So on a bigger stage, it's got to be...
Well, let's of course you don't have to say his name, but it happens to absolutely everybody,
100%.
Especially if it's like the new thing. And the funny thing is, everyone's surprised by it too. They're like, "Oh my god, I didn't have strength. I lost." My least favorite is the spit.
Cotton mouth,
You get no spit, and you're like, "Hey, you can't get your mouthpiece out."
Yep.
I lose strength too, immediately.
Yeah.
Cold muscles.
It's such a crazy feeling. It's such it's like getting the flu. It's like getting instant flu or something. That's what it feels like. That's why when I heard that Wim Hof was suppressing flu-like symptoms, I was like, well, that's exactly what I get right before I compete, you know?
Right.
So if I could do that, and I mean, sure enough, when I did it, I'm trying to think if I could think back to the first time I did it. I couldn't even believe it. I was sitting there like waiting for my first match. I'm thinking of one time in particular, and this is before I started doing the Fight to Wins. And it was the Gorilla Grand Prix that we have at San Jose or in Pleasanton, and no belts, no weight classes, just get in there and
talk about the unknown, right?
Yeah, and see who's gonna get it today. And so it's you don't know what's gonna happen. You get little guys and big guys, so fun. But I remember sitting there in my first match. I had done this. I couldn't get in there in 5 rounds. I couldn't get to the place in 5 rounds of breath work. I did 6 rounds. Ooh, I was kind of getting there finally. Okay, 7 rounds. I did 7 rounds. I might have done 8. And then I was like, okay, I'm there. I got to the lightheadedness. The lightheadedness, which creates that disassociative feeling with your body.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you kind of come back to your body. And your body feels fantastic. And then it was gone. So I won that tournament. And small, our little small tournament, but with 0 nerves. And then after that, I was just like, this thing, what am I going to do with this thing? I got to tell people about this.
Yeah. So many people, cool. Man. Anyone that competes in anything, it doesn't even have to be big. Like when we have when we're going for something that means something to us, like you're testing a max lift that you've been training for, you invest the time, no one else cares, but you care.
Yeah.
Then you show up to that gym and you spend 2-3 months training, and then you're so invested in that lift that you go cold.
Yep.
And then you just wasted everything just because you didn't prep properly.
Well, it's not true. Our thing is like
but it happens, and the issue is that the traditional way to do it is they'll just say do more lifts, do more comps, and then you'll hopefully
that is the traditional way.
Adapt to it, and
that's our thing. We're always trying to prevent injury, so
it's like you could be optimal, or you could just kind of slowly be functional. You want to have if you have the technique, why not use it?
Yeah.
Right.
This is a cool technique.
You have a bunch of good guinea pigs right now. Is what we're getting at. Because
all right.
Like if you've never had anybody try it on a 1 rep max versus bodybuilding versus just
yesterday DJ was asking, well, can you do this style, the technique you're showing us to running? And then it was a perfect answer. It's like, well, try it out and report back.
You're gonna get a bunch of feedback.
Well, that's how we're gonna learn, right? Because if he's testing on running, when you're testing on lifting or jiu-jitsu, that's where the group kind of grows together faster. The power of the group.
I don't recommend though doing breath holds when you run. I don't think you're going to be successful.
But the idea is like
give it a shot.
Yeah, but the idea is like to test it, right? Yeah. It's not really that might be optimal, but you never know.
For sure, he'll come up. Maybe it comes up with something.
The big question that was across the board from our group thread, it was already 4 of us that took it the first time. And then this time we added everyone from CrossFit Sun that took it, and we just said, hey, what questions do you have? We're going to meet with Miles later. The biggest one still is that how necessary are the ice baths? Follow-up to that, can you replicate that same stimulus without the ice bath?
So the breathing, I did the breathing for 6 months before I did the ice baths. And I wasn't even interested in the ice baths. So
and you saw benefits and stuff?
Oh my God, gigantic benefits. So I could tell my health changed like dramatically.
Okay, nice. So everything that answers that. So you can you get benefits. Just do the breathing first and foremost. So
the breathing is, and this is my own answer, but the breath work does amazing things, and then the ice work, the ice bath stuff does amazing things too that you could do without the breath work. To be honest, I mean some people can do it without it. The breath work helps the ice. But you can do the ice bath stuff by just by itself and get all these other amazing benefits. And then all of a sudden you put the two together, and then and I think that's when the mindset, the breath work helps with the mindset, and the ice tests the mindset. So that's how they all go back together.
Gotcha.
But certainly on their own, and they work synergistically.
Yeah.
Good word.
What benefits are some if you don't do the breathing, you just jump into an ice bath.
Yeah.
And you do that periodically. What are some of the benefits you get from that? That was kind of a question.
So
most people think it's just like inflammation for joint recovery, muscle recovery for athletes. Like football players will jump in, CrossFit.
Yeah.
So what
that's
benefits?
A huge benefit too, right? The more red blood cells. So health benefits right out of the gate. More red blood cells for a week. the inflammation stuff, and then you're going to have to use some sort of mindset to deal with
or else you'll freak out and get out.
Yeah, and even if your mindset isn't, even if you're not working very well, if you're not like being able to get calm, because a lot of people do it and they're not calm, they just do it because they have to and they're shivering and it's crazy.
They fight through it the whole time.
Yeah,
got it.
Wim just did you probably saw the Vice documentary. Did you see the Yes Theory documentary on Wim?
Probably not.
Did you see the Vice documentary? Oh, the Vice documentary is amazing. I recommend that one highly. Okay. That's the one that got me going. It's
on YouTube.
Kind of old. Yeah, 45 minutes on YouTube. And then Yes Theory did a documentary on Wim, and he said, I don't want to do another Vice documentary. We're gonna do something different. And he made all the Yes Theory guys, it's like a half a dozen of them or something, do a 10-minute ice bath in nature, which is a crazy one because it's moving, so you never warm up at all. Like it's just cold.
Like a river or something?
Yeah,
or what? Oh.
Yeah. And he made them do it for 10 minutes and didn't teach them the technique at all. Didn't teach them any breathing techniques before they did it. And so they were able to do it for 10 minutes. You should see when they get out, you can see exactly where the water was because their skin is beet red. They were able to do it without the breath work, so they got to train their mind in a way. But it was horrific for them, by the way, and it was like
10 minutes of torture.
It was hell.
It's not meditative anymore.
No, but so it's something different.
Yeah.
So then that ice work is, that's you're still getting that adrenaline. You're still getting adrenaline release from that. You're getting, afterwards they felt like champs, But it's very interesting. So those things, man, they work completely separate, and then but together they're awesome,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's so fun, huh?
Yeah. Because even really trying to share it, because the first time we took it, and then I was like, this is amazing. Our coaches thought it was amazing. And then we wanted to run another one right away, right? Mm-hmm. We had a good showing. We had like 7 or 8 CrossFit Sun members and our coaches in there. So
we had about 20. What do we have? Almost over 20.
Over 20, that's right.
But still, there was still that reservation for some of the people we would promote and tell them, like, you got to go. They're like, oh, I can't. The cold gives me migraines, or everything that was stem around the fear of cold. And I, coming from a background of having anxiety, I get it, right? When it's too big of a hurdle.
I see.
Like, what would you recommend people like that? Should they just come to the next workshop and don't worry about the cold, or should they kind of just dabble on their own? How do you guide those people to like get over that main? It's not an excuse, but the genuine concern of something.
Of the cold. Well, I mean, the cold bath is definitely optional. So they don't even have to do that if they don't want.
Gotcha.
And they'll get it, like we were saying, you don't even need the cold to get all these crazy benefits. And I would actually say the breath work itself is probably the most beneficial because you can take that with you anywhere. You need to know you need a place to do the cold, right? So the breath work is a new tool that you have. So people that don't sign up, I mean, because they're scared of the cold. I mean, as we saw, it's the people that are the most scared of the cold that have the most fun and do the best, it seems like.
Yeah. And they get the most out of it, right?
They get the most out of it.
They're most fearful, and they conquer their biggest fear.
Right.
Or someone that does cold showers every day, it's kind of like, what's the big deal? Right?
I'm getting to the point where I don't know all the underlying reasons why people get excited about it at first and they don't sign up. It's kind of weird to me because, and I'm sort of thinking about that with my friends now, because people do get pumped about it. And then when we were in San Jose, you saw that video of San Jose, where we had 1,000 people, and I thought, how crazy is it? This is a sober event essentially, and this is the most excited I've seen a group of people. I mean, concerts aren't as exciting. Yeah. Everything that even rivals this event is like jam-packed with alcohol or something else. We need to get out of our skin somehow. Yeah. And so this thing is so cool that people have to. It's not that they're scared of the cold. It's like they're scared of the unknown, I think.
Yeah.
And they have to know that to get that's the only way we grow.
Yeah, so taking it twice now, and it's just so relatable to like a powerlifting comp, Olympic weightlifting comp, any type of competition. A lot of people don't sign up because you're afraid to fail.
It's the unknown factor.
It's the unknown.
I went in to learn breathing.
Yeah.
And application to sport, but then you were talking like even in the first pitch of the seminar, you were talking about meditation, and I was like, I'm gonna meditate? Like, is that the goal?
I was surprised how many people didn't meditate in that room, right? I asked, and it was 2 out of 20.
That was me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I said, on accident, I don't go to acupuncture or yoga to meditate.
Yeah.
and I've tried Headspace, but I don't follow it. You know what I mean? So it was like, I wouldn't consider myself someone that does. Yeah. You know, so I was like, I didn't know that was gonna be our goal today.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh, is that what we're gonna do? And then I felt after like the first 2 rounds when we laid down, I was like, oh, this is what it is. Like it's out of body. It's it's really
the best.
weird.
Yeah.
I know. And then I was like, how am I gonna recover from this? You know, like after the 4 rounds, you know, I was like, what is it gonna be like when we stand up and walk around? I don't even know what.
Because you were somewhere else for a bit, huh?
Yeah. So like when we started walking around, I was like, whoa, this is really weird. And then the first person to talk to was TK. He's like, almost similar things, and he was saying hallucinations and
TK also mentioned too that he was saying like, I'll sign up, and he wasn't even planning on doing the ice bath.
He wasn't?
Yeah, he told me that then. I didn't know that.
He's coming with an open mind.
Yeah, he's just gonna go, I wasn't even planning on doing it. But there's something too, like you're saying, where people get so amped up and we're not even drinking, is that good vibes. Yeah. It's like after whatever a jiu-jitsu comp with your academy and your members, everyone's just on that high afterwards.
Super high.
I think everyone needs to have a little bit of that fear, like you talked about. If you don't have enough anxiety in your life, are you doing anything?
Yeah, are you doing anything hard enough?
Like, because I went back and forth. I'm like, so many people went, just for me thinking, like, so many people said, oh, I would like, but then, you know, the cold.
Was that the biggest criticism?
Criticism. And and the thing is, I was like, well, maybe we should just do a 2-hour, you know, breath work one. But I was like, it's not the same. You're not going to get the same high as like, hey, we're all going to go to someone's garage and roll together, and it'll be like a competition. But if everyone signed up to go to a competition afterwards, win, lose, or draw, and you actually just stepped on the mat and did it, whether you did good or bad, everyone's on a freaking high like nothing before. Yeah. I think that's the benefit of the experience of the ice bath.
Right, and like Miles said, it was like you're a tribe that day. You're all going to go through something together.
Yeah.
Support each other, talk.
That's a neat feeling, isn't it?
It's really weird. Yeah. It's neat is the best way to put it.
Did you feel like, hopefully you felt, especially after the breathing, you felt like very comfortable around this group of people. Maybe more comfortable than you would normally around a group of people that you don't know. Yeah,
absolutely.
Or just even,
that's so cool.
Just even walking in, right? We got all these different people that don't know each other. Yeah. And you got that weird seminar vibe, right? Where you don't know anyone.
Let's say we do a third and some of those guys came back, we would go right up to them like, hey, welcome back.
Yeah.
You know, like, we get to do it again.
One parallel I saw was with community-based sports or whatnot, relationship-based sports like CrossFit and Jiu-Jitsu, is that we're all doing the same thing. But what I saw this time around, which I think helped, was that we had people that attended the first time. So like DJ and Leslie were really able to help out our members because they're already accustomed to coaching them. But it's just, that's what Jiu-Jitsu is about. You come in, you're a white belt, you got people that are more trained, blue belt, and they come in and they're not really necessarily they're running it, but they're there to help.
No, then people get more help. They get more help.
Exactly. So it's like, I was like, that's really cool, because then you'll see people have these side conversations instead of it being like, all right, break time, and then all 20 people that don't know anything about it or haven't experienced it are like trying to flood and take your time. But it's easy for people like myself or DJ or Leslie to talk to the people that are first timers. So I think that's super cool, because like the more you do it, you're gonna have people that are just on a different timeline.
Everyone had a slightly different response too, you know, even if the similar ones are still kind of
you have different experience for sure. The amount of benefits, that's why I do that. Did you guys like how we get to just hear a tiny bit from everybody in the beginning? I think that's pretty neat, because everyone was into something like the general theme. After you listen to everybody, it's typically different. Like I think it was different from this one to the last one, where everyone before one was real interested in anxiety control. Yeah. Where because there was a bunch of jiu-jitsu guys, but then this one, like it didn't even come up till the very end almost.
There was a lot of cool motivating stories, a lot of different reasons why people are here. I was like, wow,
isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's super powerful.
That's why I love doing a class of like 6 people. Because then we can do those stories. Then we can get a little bit deeper into those stories. Then we can do like specific things that really aid people. Where this is like you can only how much you can only talk for a few moments before you realize that
But maybe that happens organically if again I'm going to continue to tell like I'm excited for the third time to do it because then you start to step 1 was learn the framework. Step 2 I'm getting a little bit more detailed in how I should practice it, right, and apply it. And then the third one, it's just kind of like more customized for my needs. So maybe like I get that in a small setting with you, it'd be ideal, like have 3 or 4 people to do it with you. But I think if I kept going through this process, then you get the same result of it starting to be more custom to my goals, you know?
I mean, it's going to be awesome. We're going to hear, especially after the third one, I think, we're going to hear back from how people are applying it. And that's going to be so cool. People are going to, definitely have the transformations that I had, that you've had running,
Yep.
It's going to, I can't wait.
And also it was taking both of them, you added stuff and evolved it already, so obviously that's going to happen again, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we do every time I do anything on Sundays or FixFit. It's not like it's the same thing. We're always trying to change it just a bit to make it better, always evolving the system,
For sure. That's why I told you guys, that's one of my favorite parts is like, what's the new science, what's happening now. So I mean, we always have new layers. We have a whole group, Facebook group of 350 people, the instructors.
Yeah.
And we're always posted on there, or people with different ways it's helped different people and stuff.
I was thinking about that. It's maybe a little bit more to manage, or maybe not, because it depends if it's peer facilitated or whatever. But all the people that take your seminar, put them on a community group, and then they could just chat.
Yeah, I think
because we have our own already.
Yeah.
And that's going to keep going. But if you ever did, we already have 9 people or 10 people ready to go.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's an idea.
Totally. I think it's getting there. I think I've been kind of waiting. I've been spending all my time, the majority of my time, just trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
And I think the word's getting out, and now we got a few people that want to talk about it. So here we go.
Yeah, I guess to sum it up, because we're gonna blast this out to especially people that were there yesterday. What should we do today or tomorrow?
Yeah, so definitely practice the breath work, particularly in the morning, and see how it affects you. The ice baths are good. Once a week is really all you need to do for an ice bath. You can start with the cold showers if you want, but those are harder,
Yeah.
It's that simple. The breath work is so simple, and I think that we want it to be more. We want it to be like more complex, and like you were saying, people want the recipe and they want to know how to do it, but they should remember that to use their own creativity to improve it and change it, and I think they're going to be successful because it's such a natural thing that we do. Experiment with it. But the last thing, because you said the ice was the people weren't interested in that as much. I would say, man, the breath work is so nice, especially for health reasons. I mean, that when you're healthier, that changes your life. You know? When you can, I used to not want to sign up for competitions because I would get sick all the time. So
it's a lot of stress.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know if I would be healthy when the competition came around.
Okay.
So I stopped getting sick the moment I started doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just it blew me away. I mean, so forget the ice. Just focus on some breath work. Any conscious breath work works, and you're going to be off and running. And I say choose the Wim Hof breath work to start with, but it all works. I mean, just learning, getting better control of our body. It's sort of crazy that it's not something that we learn right when you're kids.
That's the number one thing I said.
Same thing in FixFit, right?
Yeah.
We know nothing about mechanics still as an adult, but even kids, that's what we're trying to. It's a good tie-in.
Here we go.
I said it yesterday at the seminar. I was like, you don't think about breathing until you're in distress, and it's like the absence of it. If I have asthma, if I'm out of breath on a run, then you think about it.
Yeah.
But to actually sit there and like work on it, it's pretty eye-opening.
Well, yeah, and we always say about how breathing is automatic. It is automatic, but doesn't anticipate. So we have to anticipate to set a bit of preemptive, lower CO2 or higher oxygen or whatever we want. And man, it's we saw how much longer we can hold our breath and stuff like that. It's so powerful. It's so crazy powerful.
So to start daily practice, mornings. Why do you say mornings?
Because it changes your body pH, so you feel a little bit healthier. When your body pH, some of the guys were mentioning how their acid reflux was lower, and it just seems like there's been good science on the fact that if you're more alkaline, people talk about alkaline foods and water and all these different things, but actually you can do it with breathing. So you stick with that one, and that's why I say do it in the morning, because.
Is it okay to do it right before bed?
Rough.
Because, I mean, you can get into a meditative state and, it's almost like I was coming out of REM sleep, that sort of deal sometimes. But, in terms of the chemical changes, you are spiking your adrenaline. So is that
I would give it a no before bed. But it depends on what you're up to. So how good at you are you bringing your getting back into a calm state.
Because that's the goal, right? You spike it, you come back
Before bed, for sure.
Yeah. You're going to really have to do it, or else.
We'll sample it because I get tired. So
There's
if I try it in the evening time and knock out good.
I would do it when it was most useful for me before bed was when I was traveling. When I was traveling and like I didn't have time to do it during the day or anything like that, and I knew I wasn't going to get enough sleep or anything like that, I would do it because I felt like I needed it. It made me feel good. And but
that makes sense.
The breath pattern that helps you sleep, I don't know if we mentioned this last time, but it's awesome. All it is you breathe in less than you breathe out. So you can look online and people are going to give you counts and stuff like that, but none of that works for me because my lung capacity is lower. So all it is we just want to drop our oxygen. So we breathe in. I'm doing a little pause at the top and the bottom, but you just short breaths in and long breaths out, and then you'll start to, it's tough to count 30 of those before you fall asleep. It's a really cool,
that's the sleep
way.
one.
Yeah, that's the sleep breath pattern. Yeah, just it's just doing that is also, it's like counting sheep. It's like you start getting bored after a while.
Yeah.
And you got to restart, and then at some point you just fall asleep because you're just
some
bored
people
yourself.
listening are probably, that's counting sheep.
Yeah.
The hell's the difference?
Yeah.
Nothing, just do it.
Just do it.
That's
yeah.
right.
Well, Mark's going to meet me at my community pool 4 a.m. tomorrow, right?
Dang. What
you said you would go into your community pool, remember last time?
Yeah.
I walked by my
I
dog pipe.
I probably would. I don't like cold showers because I just think it's hard to probably stay calm when things just keep hitting you constantly at different spots. Cold water. But I jump into a.
What's your community pool right now? Did you do the temperature?
I didn't check the temperature yet. No, maybe I'll go look at that.
Still pretty warm. It was 90 yesterday in November.
Well, yeah, a couple weeks ago, I was walking my dog and it was like steam coming off. But I was like, that's cold. It's cold steam. That's not a heated pool. So I was like, oh man, that's gonna be one. I was like, I'll hit up Mark and
ready to go
when winter really hits us. But yeah, right now it's probably really warm. So, but 4 a.m. See you tomorrow. 3 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Nope. 3:30.
3:30. All right, Miles, thanks for coming back, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, don't forget, follow Miles on Breathe.Fitness on YouTube. Breath. I always messed it up. I just asked you about that yesterday. Breath.Fitness on YouTube. Subscribe. Instagram.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the show notes again.
Yeah, so last thing. So next week I'll be in San Francisco.
Nice.
Pacifica, specifically at the Cave MMA, the Cave Academy, sorry. Mike Morrell, Black Belt Mike Morrell is over there, and he's going to host another workshop. We've already sold a ton of tickets, and it's going to be awesome. He has a sauna getting put in on Wednesday, so we're going to do it's a full Wim Hof fundamental seminar. We're going to really apply it to jiu-jitsu, but no jiu-jitsu experience is required. It's just
what day is that again?
It's Sunday.
Sunday.
We're going to do it from 1 to 5 on Sunday. And then I have another one on Monday that's a corporate run that we don't do ice baths, so we just do the breath work. And because I used to be in advertising for 10 years and in the creative area, and so the breath helps you be more creative. I mean, really, sleep helps you be more creative, and that's one of the things I teach there is to be more creative, you got to get better sleep. And then that breath pattern is so awesome, so simple. Again, we want it to be more complex. Yeah. But just some conscious breath work will help you.
And that's good for team building for corporate, I bet, right? You mentioned that.
Yeah, when we start doing the hoo-has and the horse dance, it's ridiculous. It's that's what it is. I love to see everyone's face, and I hope that was a fun part. Was that a fun part of
it was.
Yeah.
It's a little out of body at that point.
Yeah, just because the whole thing is just like wacky.
It felt like we're in a movie. It really did.
Amazing. That's so awesome. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that part. So we get out of our comfort zone in a few ways. The breath work at one point gets us out of our comfort zone. The exercises at one point gets us out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then the ice bath, of course. And in the end, to me, why we do the end, or why I do it the way we do, is because I want people to be out of their comfort zone in a silly way, like a slightly embarrassed. Like.
And it's not coming from experience. It's not even that bad. If someone's listening,
it's not bad at all.
It's not even close to being that bad. If you are nervous about it, it's not. It's like very minimal silliness.
Yeah, I did make it. I pumped it up like it was. They should be embarrassed.
But I want to be more embarrassed. I came for that. Just kidding. It's not so bad at all. No. Super powerful stuff.
How do you feel? I mean, letting out something, you feel good afterwards.
You're able to let out a yell.
Yes.
And that's acceptable.
Let's do one right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, turn your volumes down. Get ready for this.
All right, man. Thanks for coming, dude.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.